again. I'm Alan with Alan's Firearms, and welcome to another segment in Alan's Firearms and Gunneria. What we're going to talk about today is the Bersa 45, which is a very nice mid-size 45 pistol made in Argentina. The Argentine people love this gun. Bersa makes the Argentinian fighter aircraft. Most places online that rate this gun, fairly anyway, say it's a great value for its dollar. You could pick this gun up around $450, a little less, a little more, depending on whether you go to a discount house or regular gun shop. Very accurate, very dependable, very well made for the money. You can't get much better in a 45 for this price anywhere. So I think you should take a serious look at it. Today what we're going to do with this pistol is I'm going to field strip it. I'm going to show you how to clean it, where to lubricate it, and then we're going to reassemble it. Okay, let's go to the workbench. So now here we have the Bersa in its box. Let's open it up and see what we have. Okay, we have all the typical paperwork that comes with a gun, including its manual and an order sheet, so you can get Bersa junk. Spent cartridge, which some states need it for registration. We have two magazines. One is inside the pistol and one is wrapped separately. And then, of course, as you know, since I have a gun shop, this has already been basically opened. They give you two locks. They give you a regular pistol guard lock, and then they give you a little, I'll get it here, there's a little Argentine flag there, but they give you this little key lock. They only give you one. I wish they gave you two. But they give you that little key lock, and that goes right in there, in that little hole, so you can lock the gun, basically turning it into, for all intents and purposes, a paperweight. So, remove the magazine, check to make sure it is empty, look down the barrel of the magazine well, look down the slide, there you go. Now if you notice, I pointed this right at you. Well, you're not there. You are just a camera. You're not really an audience. So please don't start writing me that I move the gun in an unsafe manner. This is video, and there are things that I must do for the sake of the viewing audience that may not comply to 100% of the safety rules that I'll espouse. But right now, we know the gun is empty. Okay? Here you go. So, what I want to show you, now that we know the gun is empty, some of the features of the Bersa. The Bersa is a totally ambidextrous pistol because it was made for the Argentine military and the police, so they kept that in mind, that not everybody, 20% of the population, is left-handed. So here we have our left-handed safety and decocker, and our right-handed safety and decocker. Okay, the gun, while it's on safe mode, of course, the trigger is inactive. Put the trigger, take it off of safety, and there you go. The trigger is active, the hammer is moving. I am not going to dry fire this gun because you shouldn't dry fire any automatic or most revolvers. The first shot is going to be full double action when you take it off of safety, and every preceding shot will be single action. You can see the trigger go back. Oh, let me do that again for those who weren't watching for it. Trigger is in double action forward, and after the first shot it'll then be in single action rear, and very light pull the trigger and bang, it goes off. What are some of the nice features about this gun other than it's got ambidextrous safety and ambidextrous slide release? You see, here's the left-handed slide release. It has a little locking system. So if you look at it this way, you saw the key when I opened the box, you put the key right in there and it will lock the gun, making it practically a paperweight. Okay, how do you take this puppy apart? It is so easy. There's a button, or I should say a lever, right there. Okay? What you do is you pull that lever down and slide the slide forward. Okay? I don't know how much easier you can get to doing that, to taking down a gun. That's the upside. The downside is if somebody was to grab your gun in a tussle, all they'd have to do is that, and your gun is disarmed. Let me tell you something. In a gunfight, if someone gets close enough to grab your gun before you shoot it, you pulled it out and reacted too slow, because when you pull that gun out, before they could react to you pulling it out, you already should have fired it 3 times. Okay, so how do we clean this puppy? Well, let's take out the double spring. This has a double spring, which means there's a spring inside of a spring. See that? Here's the barrel and the slide and the frame. Now, a couple of things. When you have a gun, a pistol in this position, especially an automatic, and you knock the hammer back, never fire it and let it fly forward. You will cause damage to your frame and or hammer. This is not may. This is you will. Take my word for it. And even if it doesn't show up right away, eventually it'll catch up to you. One of the things I love using in gun cleaning are these little sticks that I pick up. You get them at most supermarkets. It's a candy apple or caramel apple stick that goes into the apple. They're cheap. They have a sharp point on it, so they're good for getting into all the little places. And they're wood, and you can just throw them out as they break or wear down or get too dirty to keep using. I am going to get a little bit of strike hold, which is the stuff that I like to use, and I'm going to put some of that on here to give it a little extra clean and lube on this new gun. So what I did was, inside here, on each side of a semi-automatic are your slide rail receivers. So you are going to clean that groove out, because that's where the slide goes in, and that's where it makes the most contact to your frame. So by cleaning that out, we know that it's properly lubricated as far as where this metal touches metal. Okay, so there we go. I clean that. I'm going to clean back here, and I'm going to clean the battery. Okay, so now that I have that all clean, I'm just going to wipe it down real fast with a clean rag in the slot, down the slot, on each side of the frame back, and I'm going to take a touch of this lube and just hit it like that, dab up some of the extra. I'm going to clean off the barrel. Very important, make sure that you get this part. This is your ramp. So you want this ramp nice and clean, because that's where your cartridge, the bullet of the cartridge hits and goes in. So now I'm just going to clean out the barrel. It's not bad. I mean, all that brown dirt was from the outside of the gun. That's all cosmoline. Okay. Last, we want to clean off spring a little bit, and now the frame itself. The frame is pretty easy. Get a clean cloth. All big parts. It's plastic, so unless I just shot it, I wouldn't bother with any gun cleaner. I am going to want to spray some lube along the guide rails for the slide. And you can see there's quite a bit of dirt inside those guide rails. So this is going to make this gun, when I have a customer draw that slide, feel a lot better than it did. Okay, I'm going to clean the top of them because that's metal. So wherever metal touches metal, or anything that is metal, I want to put this stuff on. Because this, that includes the hammer and the trigger. Because this does reduce the possibility of rust. Though these guns are pretty well Parkerized and finished, I haven't seen one of these rust. They're not as rust prone as some of the other pistols I've seen on the market. Okay, so there we go. We have our Bersa Thunder 45 cleaned and ready for reassembly. Okay, let's see, reassembly. Barrel goes right in. Let's see that again. Take the barrel, tilt it in, push it back. There we go. We have the barrel in. Spring. Very simple. Flat part goes to the back of the gun. Push this, get it through the little hole in the front. Okay, I'm going to do that again to make it a little, it's going to be harder for me, but easier for you to see. Just like that. Okay? Line up the slide rails and move it back just enough to cock that back. You see, there's bringing that back is when you put it on, you just have to move it just a touch back and it's in. The gun is together. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to wipe down the extra. Okay, I'm going to put a touch of my strike hold on the outside of the slide, which I neglected to do when it was apart, because like I said, it helps reduce rust. And now I'm going to wipe it off. Okay, there we have it. The Bersa Thunder 45 ready to go. Now I'm going to give you a little history on Bersa. Bersa has been around for many, many years. They've made a lot of different guns, mostly the ones that look like this style or PPK style. They had a bad rap for a little while. The old Bersas used to come apart differently. I mean, it's a totally different gun than that of our grandfathers, who may recognize the name. Our fathers won't, our grandfathers will. Maybe. The biggest change is the fact that the company has jumped into modern firearms, and they make a very good one. The Bersa company makes the Argentine fighter aircraft, so they have a great deal of knowledge and expertise in metallurgy and machining. It is imported by a company called Eagle Imports. Now understand, the Bersa Eagle, or Eagle Bersa, Eagle has nothing to do with the manufacturing. It is just an import company. Something else I want you to be aware of. It has a lifetime, they call it lifetime service contract. and I've had very good results with the very few firearms that I've had to send to them. This not being one of them. I've never had a 45 come back with a problem. The Bersa Thunder 380, I've sold over 200 of them. I've only had one come back that I had to send in for repair. And they do not have a Bersa Eagle Repair Center. What they have is designated gunsmiths that take care of their firearms throughout the country. So that, to me, I mean, I used the guy and was real comfortable with him, and he really got the gun in, fixed it, turned it around, no problems. So I was quite happy with the way he handled himself. But to me, it's a little pragmatic having private firearms companies, you know, gunsmiths handling your work. I guess in a sense it's a good thing for the economy, but hey, that's up to you. All in all, very big bang, 45 for a relatively inexpensive buck. Very accurate. I like it. Would I carry it? It's a bit heavy. You know, it's a big gun next to my Warthog. But yeah, if push came to shove, I would carry it. If I was in a state that allowed their private security people to carry it, I would opt for this other than anything else. If I was a police officer that was given a whim, you can carry anything you want, would I feel comfortable with this, putting my life on this? Yeah, I think I would. It's a 45. When you pull the trigger on this gun, it goes bang every time. So that's what you want, and it's dead accurate. So this is Alan from Alan's Firearms and gunneria.com saying happy shooting and shoot safe.